This video is designed to help you start a restaurant business. At the end of the video, you'll find a valuable gift. It's a restaurant business plan that you can download, and will lay down for you, step by step, everything you need to know to start a successful restaurant business of your own. If you are new to this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. When you picture your restaurant, what does it look like? Is it a counter-service cafe for breakfast and lunch with a small bar seating area? Is your restaurant a more intimate affair, a reservation-only establishment, whose limited seating only adds to the allure? Maybe your restaurant is takeout only, offering a few seating options as customers wait for their meals to finish being prepared. Restaurant formats to choose from are fine dining, casual dining, family style, fast casual, cafe or bar seating. Depending on the format you choose for your restaurant, it may be classified under a different name. This can also be influenced by cuisine. Popular variations on the classic small restaurant include diner, bistro, cafe, gastropub. Write a business plan. In order to set your restaurant up for sustainable success in the long term, start by crafting a comprehensive business plan that outlines your strategy for opening and operating your restaurant. The more detailed a business plan you write for yourself, the more prepared you'll be for whatever comes along. Choosing a location. Gather an understanding for who your target customers are, where they spend time, and which restaurants are the most popular in your area. Think about the community, and keep them in mind through every step of the process, from idea to grand opening. That's how many small businesses become neighborhood favorites. It's not enough to set up shop in a beautiful building, if it isn't also centrally located to where your future customers spend their time. In order to do so, start by crafting thorough buyer personas for your prospective customers. Real estate agents can be a helpful resource for restaurateurs interested in setting up new businesses, in areas that are new to them or competitive. Procure food sales licenses and business permits. Start researching the documentation you will need to open and operate your restaurant, by searching for new business requirements or new restaurant requirements in your state. Some counties even have their own paperwork requirements for new restaurants. To ensure you aren't missing any application requirements or deadlines, start this process as soon as you can. The permits and licenses necessary for opening a restaurant include, but are not limited to, zoning permits, passing a health and safety inspection, food handler's license, sales license, liquor license. States or counties may have their own requirements, too, along with specialty restaurant formats. For example, if you want to have a food truck along with your small establishment, they have their own paperwork and permit considerations. Work with a professional to make sure you've got this step right. Marketing strategy for your restaurant. Before you can introduce your restaurant to the public, you first need to design your branding, like the logo and color scheme. Ask yourself questions like, what is unique about your restaurant? What does the ambience of your restaurant offer customers? Will you offer specials or seasonal promotions? How will you communicate with your customers? Which advertising methods will you use to reach your target audience? How does your cuisine affect brand and design? Questions like these will guide you in designing a strong, recognizable brand for your restaurant. Once a brand has been established, social media marketing is a low-cost way to spread the word about your new business. And once you've been up and running and you can build up your customer list, email marketing is incredibly effective and a great way to turn first-time guests into regulars. Restaurant finances and operating expenses. Managing your restaurant finances requires you to gain an understanding of your startup costs and all potential operating expenses, leaving room for unexpected costs. When you first set up your restaurant operations, you can implement systems that help accurately forecast future sales, using real-time data from food sales down to the menu item. How much does it cost to open a restaurant? Total restaurant startup costs range from $95,000 for smaller restaurants to over $2 million. As a rule, you can expect to pay roughly $200 per square foot of your location. Startup costs can vary based on purchasing new or used equipment or renting, the cost of food and supplies, and whether or not you'll have counter service or servers. Restaurant finances plus operating expenses. In addition to preparing for restaurant startup costs like equipment repairs and potential barriers, like supply chain shortages, typical small restaurant operating expenses include labor costs, food, utilities, equipment, appliances, packaging, software and other in-house technology, marketing and advertising, licenses and permits, rent, restaurant sales forecasting. Once you're open for business, you can forecast sales by analyzing your month-over-month growth rate. Until then, Forecasting sales means subtracting expenses from projected revenue. To manage business expenses and vendor and employee payments, use a separate business bank account instead of a personal account. The next part of the video is not specific to the restaurant business. Nevertheless, this knowledge is essential for success in the restaurant business, as well as in any other business. Ignore it at your own peril. Operating a successful restaurant business will depend on the following 4 conventions. 1. A practical plan, with a solid foundation. 2. Dedication and willingness to sacrifice, to reach your goal. 3. Technical skills. 4. Basic knowledge of management, finance, record keeping and market analysis. As a new owner, you will need to master these skills and techniques if your business is to be successful. Finding a niche. Small businesses range in size from a manufacturer, with many employees, and millions of dollars in equipment, to the lone window washer, with a bucket and a sponge. Obviously, the knowledge and skills, required for these two extremes, are far apart, but for success they have one thing in common. Each has found a business niche, and is filling it. The most critical problems you will face, in your early planning, will be to find your niche, and determine the feasibility of your idea. Get into the right business at the right time, is very good advice, but following that advice, may be difficult. Many entrepreneurs plunge into a business venture, so blinded by the dream, that they fail to thoroughly evaluate its potential. Is your business idea feasible? Before you invest time, effort, and money, the following exercise will help you separate sound ideas from those bearing a high potential for failure. Identify and briefly describe the business you plan to start. Identify the product or service you plan to sell. Answering yes to any of the following 3 questions means you are on the right track. A negative answer to all of them means the road ahead could be rough. 1. Does your product or service satisfy an unfilled need? 2. Will your product or service serve an existing market in which demand exceeds supply? 3. Will your product or service be competitive based on its quality, selection, price, or location? Market analysis. For a small business to be successful, the owner must know the market. To learn the market, you must analyze it, a process that takes time and effort. You don't have to be a trained statistician to analyze the marketplace, nor does the analysis have to be costly. Analyzing the market is a way to gather facts about potential customers, and to determine the demand for your product or service. The more information you gather, the greater your chances of capturing a segment of the market. Know the market before investing your time and money in any business venture. The following questions will help you collect the information necessary to analyze your market, and determine if your product or service will sell. This brief exercise will give you a good idea of the kind of market planning you need to do. An answer of no to any of the questions indicates a weakness in your plan, so do your research until you can answer each question with a yes. 1. Do you know who your customers will be? 2. Do you understand their needs and desires? 3. Do you know where they live? 4. Will you be offering the kind of products or services that they will buy? 5. Will your prices be competitive in quality and value? 6. Will your promotional program be effective? 7. Do you understand how your business compares with your competitors? 8. Will your business be conveniently located for the people you plan to serve? 9. Will there be adequate parking facilities for the people you plan to serve? Planning your startup. The following questions are grouped according to function. They are designed to help you prepare for opening day. Merchandise. Have you decided what items you will sell or produce, or what services you will provide? Have you made a merchandise plan, based upon estimated sales, to determine the amount of inventory you will need to control purchases? Have you found reliable suppliers, who will assist you in the startup? Have you compared the prices, quality, and credit terms of suppliers? Business records. Are you prepared to maintain complete records of sales, income and expenses, accounts payable, and receivables? Have you determined how to handle payroll records, tax reports, and payments? Do you know what financial reports should be prepared, and how to prepare them? Finances. A large number of small businesses fail each year. There are a number of reasons for these failures, but one of the main reasons is insufficient funds. Too many entrepreneurs try to start and operate a business without sufficient capital, money. To avoid this dilemma, you can review your situation by analyzing the following 3 questions. 1. How much money do you have? 2. How much money will you need to start your business? 3. How much money will you need to stay in business? In order to answer the second question, how much money will you need to start your business? You need to prepare an estimate of all your startup costs. Here is a list of items you may need to take into account. Note that this list is for a retail business. Items will vary for service, construction, manufacturing or online firms. Decorating and remodeling, fixtures and equipment, installing fixtures and equipment, services and supplies, beginning inventory cost, legal, professional fees, licenses and permits, telephone utility deposits, insurance, signs, advertising for opening, unanticipated expenses. Now, the answer to the third question, how much money will you need to stay in business? Must be divided into two parts, immediate costs, and future costs. From the moment the door to your new business opens, a certain amount of income may come in. However, this income should not be projected in your operating expenses. You will need enough money available to cover costs for at least the first 3 months of operation. The following list will help you project your operating expenses on a monthly basis. Typical expenses for 1 month may include your living costs, employee wages, rent, advertising, supplies, utilities, insurance, taxes, maintenance, delivery, transportation, miscellaneous. Now sum up the total estimated monthly expenses, and multiply it by 3. This is the amount of cash you will need to cover operating expenses for 3 months. Deposit this amount in a savings account before opening your business. Use it only for those purposes listed in the above list, because this money will ensure that you will be able to continue in business during the crucial early stages. By adding the total startup costs to the total expenses for 3 months, you can learn what the estimated costs will be to start and operate your business for 3 months. By subtracting the totals of the lists from the cash available, you can determine the amount of additional financing you may need, if any. Now you will need to estimate your operating expenses for the first year after startup. The first step in determining your annual expenses is to estimate your sales volume, month by month. Next, determine the cost of sales. You may want to use a spreadsheet to do this. After startup, the primary source of revenue in your business will be from sales, but your sales will vary from month to month because of seasonal patterns and other factors. It is important to determine if your monthly sales will produce enough income to pay each month's bills. An estimated cash flow projection will show if the monthly cash balance is going to be subject to such factors as the following: failure to recognize seasonal trends, excessive cash taken from the business for living expenses, too rapid expansion, and slow collection of accounts if credit is extended to customers. Conclusion: if you have carefully answered all the questions in this video, you have seriously thought about your goal. However, there may be some things you may feel you need to know more about. Owning and running a restaurant business is a continuous learning process. Research your idea, and do as much as you can, yourself, but don't hesitate to seek help from people who can tell you what you need to know. As we conclude this video, it's time you get your free restaurant business plan gift. Go to the description below this video to get it now. It is completely free, no strings attached. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and hit the subscribe button for more videos like this.